This 83-year-old man had the biggest shock in his life last week. While cleaning his house, he accidentally found an old box full of old pictures. All of them were pictures of him when he was a child, but there was a different picture. He saw his parents and himself when he was a baby. But who was the little girl next to him in the picture? The old man, who was 83 years old, discovered an old family picture. When he was caught in it, he was shocked when he discovered who she was and realized that his whole life was a lie. William Van Billet couldn't even believe what he saw. Were his parents lying to him all this time? He couldn't remember anything about this girl in the photo, but it seems that she was an important part of the family at that time. William couldn't leave it like this and decided to start investigating. And that's what he did. His parents were already dead, so he couldn't ask them directly. Fortunately, he had other family members who were always in a good relationship with him. Some of them were younger than him, but some of them were a little older than him. That may mean that they still remember the girl in the picture, even though he didn't remember her. William first went to his sister's daughter's house, who was older than him with 2 years, and she was about 3 years old when the picture was cut. But by surprise, she wasn't able to recognize this girl before. She was sure that she was always the only baby girl. But who was this girl then? William was more aware of the fact that Claudia was hiding something from him for several moments. Was there anything that Claudia didn't tell him? Or were his parents hiding this girl from the world? And if the matter was like that, where was she? There was something unusual, and William had to know what was it. His investigation led him to this question. When he finally discovered who she was, he found it difficult to stop his tears. When he arrived at his aunt's house and asked her if she knew who the girl was, she accidentally answered his curious questions with sadness. He drove his car to her house and closed the door. He was so nervous while walking to his aunt's front door he hit the doorbell. His plan was successful, because when he sat down without talking to his aunt, he put the old photo in front of her and pointed to the girl. The old woman said with a loud voice, "This is Olga." Then she realized what she did. Her eyes became so open after saying that, then she put her 2 hands in front of her mouth. "How could I be in this situation? I kept this secret all these years," she said, and it started as if she wanted to take her words. But the time has passed. Then William asks her with a serious look, "Who is Olga? And why is she in the family photo with me and my parents?" The old lady began to cry loudly. Then she whispered, "I promised never to talk about this at all." She looked at William with her 2 eyes with tears. And she said that they kept this secret for many years to protect him. Then William asks her, "My protection? To protect me from what?" She adds, "This is not for me to tell you. I advise you not to search for this woman, because she will hurt you only. But if you really want the answers, and my words won't prevent you from searching, then you will find it in the regional archive here in the city." The regional archive? What will I find there? She won't answer. She accidentally shared the girl's name, but she left him with more questions, more than what he had before. He already forgives her for her silence all these years, but she couldn't end his search here. So, he went to the regional archive and started searching in the books there. He left when he saw the following thing. He found his parents' names were supposed to be mentioned him as their only son. But his name was not even mentioned. Under his parents' names was their date of death, then some words without any children. How could this be? Of course, he was their son. According to this old book, he was never born, at least not the son of those he thinks they are his parents. There were books containing all the details of each of his family members. But his name or the name of the girl in the photo was not there. Then he saw 2 pieces of paper pointing out from one of the books, and on the first document, he could read the name of the person who was searching for a long time. Olga Bach. Her name was not the only one he found. Under her document, he found a very familiar name to him. Wilhelm Bach. He was born in February 1939, and he was adopted on April 18, 1940. So, his real name was Wilhelm, and he was adopted. How come his parents never tell him about this? Even when he became old enough to understand what all of this means. And this was not the only thing, because that means that this girl was his sister. So, who was his biological parents? And where is his sister now? These questions were getting close to the answers. Because, not a long time after this, he received a phone call that was not expected. A phone call that will change his life forever. I suggest that you now know who the girl is in the picture. Isn't that so, Wilhelm? Wilhelm was shocked when his aunt called him with that name through the phone. He was not prepared for this, but he has become so curious now to know the reason for her call. His aunt, Ina, was the one who called him, because she expected that he will start searching in the regional archive. She asked if Wilhelm wanted to go to her house with the documents that he found, and she promised that she would tell him about everything she knew. So, Wilhelm drove his car again to his aunt's house. When he parked his car, she was actually waiting for him at the front door to take him inside. She apologized for all the secrets, but she repeated again that they always believed that it was better to hide the truth. Wilhelm sat with her on the table, and put the family picture in front of her again. His aunt started talking about his past. You and your sister Olga were both adopted. You came from a Dutch family, and they were close friends to your parents. But after about a year of your birth, your parents died in a car accident. Then your parents, Judy and James, finally adopted you. And the picture you put in front of me now was taken on the same day of your adoption. You were very young to understand what happened. But something did not fit between you and your sister, and it was hard to explain. But that was not healthy for you both. For this, Judy and James decided to separate you from each other, so that you can get the best possible life. In fact, we think that it is from wisdom is to give you a completely new life, separated from each other, and separated from the family situations that happened to you. But we did not want to separate her completely from your life. That is why we give Olga to your uncle and aunt, and they avoid communication with your parents for the first 5 years of your life. When you saw each other again, you did not remember that you were a brother and sister. I know that this is hard to believe, but you have become good friends again. And of course, you are cousins. You know her now by the name of Claudia. William could not believe what he heard. Claudia's his cousin, who had good communication with her weekly, was really his sister, Olga. How could that be possible? How could he not remember anything? He asked his aunt if Claudia knew about this secret, but she told him that this is still a big secret for Claudia. Maybe you should be the one to tell her. His aunt Ina said. Yes, I will do that. What happened after that was impressive. He could not wait any longer, and he told her about this secret, and explained to her the whole situation. The woman, who is now 85 years old, looked at William with 2 big eyes. And she did not know what to say at the beginning. I was always aware, of course, I did not know that I was your sister. But I always felt that we had a special bond. Claudia left her seat, and gave her brother a big long hug. Are you also curious to know how they are now after a year? The relationship between Claudia and William, or as Olga and William should say, is better than ever before. They meet almost every day now, and William has moved to a house that is close to his sister's house. Their relationship was always special, but it has become more special now. Last week, they celebrated the first annual day for their brotherhood and sisterhood, and it was amazing. They knew each other for a long time, but they still have a lot to talk about, because now they are brother and sister, and this is so different from being cousins. Lucky for them, they are still young in their heart, so they will be so fine.